I just thought that tonight I was really guided just to do a short Facebook Live in relation to a crystal that I've been really getting pinged a lot about. So I just felt really guided to share with you guys about this crystal as well, and some of the reasons why I feel that it is a really good crystal at the moment. Hey Simone, hey Tracy, thanks for joining me. So the crystal I really want to talk to you guys about tonight is called Lepidolite, and it is a really beautiful crystal that I have personally worked with for many years now. For a long time it has been my favorite crystal for insomnia. So for anyone that has insomnia issues, this is the crystal to be your like a good go-to crystal for if you have trouble sleeping, if you suffer from insomnia, or you might have certain nights where you kind of are a bit up and down, have trouble sleeping. This is like my go-to crystal for when I'm going through those patches myself. So I've got a couple to show you, because I always think it's nice to be able to visually see these things. This is what Lepidolite tends to look like when it's cut. So here I've got a beautiful pyramid of Lepidolite, and you can see it's kind of like a deep purpley colour when it's cut. It actually looks quite different when you have a raw piece of Lepidolite, and it actually grows more in slices rather than like points and things like that. Like that, the quartz family grows a lot in the points that we see, but Lapidalite, you probably can't see it so well in a Facebook Live, but it's actually more layered the way that it grows. So these slices are very natural for Lapidalite. It's the way that it tends to grow, and you may be able to see it kind of seems to be a bit of a lighter purple, and it's got this beautiful shimmer to Lapidalite. And you will kind of get what I tend to call it like fairy dust, because you kind of get glitter on your fingers when you play with the more raw pieces of Lepidolite. So I really love these slices, and I'll talk about the slices in particular a bit later, as well as working with it in things like tumbled or cut pieces as well. Oh, wonderful, Sandy. You've got a Lepidolite pyramid as well. It's so beautiful. I love it. I love it both as the cut and tumbled pieces as well as slices. So I don't have heaps of it at home at the moment, so I didn't have any tumbled to show you, but that's just some of the pieces I have at home. As I said, it's always been my go-to for insomnia, so it's definitely great if you're having trouble, if you have trouble with sleep, or you're having one of those nights where you're really struggling. But Lepidolite is also a really good crystal for stress, for anxiety, for depression, for any of those times where we're really struggling to just be able to relax and find our calm and really find our center. And I really feel, you know, in Victoria here we've been dealing with multiple lockdowns. Poor Sydney's been locked down for 7 weeks now. We've got different states going in and out of lockdowns. There's a lot of stress on many of us at the moment, and you know, lockdowns mean different things to different people. It's very individual, but I find that there's a lot of stress on all of us at the moment going on, even whether or not you're in a lockdown or not at present. So this can be a really great crystal just to help kind of bring us back into that calm space. It will help to take some of that stress and some of that anxiety and depression away for us. It'll help to absorb some of that for us. So it's fantastic at doing that. It's also really great if you tend to find, you know, sometimes when we're really stressed especially, we can kind of fall into that time of getting really obsessive in our thoughts. It's like we can fall into that real negative thought pattern, and kind of get drawn into it, and it can be this horrible vicious cycle that we can end up in, you know, doing the what ifs and going into all those what if all these terrible things happen, what if, or just being really obsessed and stressed about a particular aspect of our situation, which just tends to make it worse. And Lepidolite is actually really well known for helping with obsessive thoughts. Once again, being able to bring in some of that calm and helping us to center, and all those sort of wonderful things that can bring us back into that more centered space where we're not going to fall into that obsessive space, or maybe we don't end up being as inclined to be in it for as long. So it can be really helpful if you find you tend to kind of fall into that spiral, to help really pull you out of that spiral and help to just cut it down or cut it out altogether. This is also a really good crystal to help us with change and transition too. Now, especially with current, with what's going on at the moment, I know from a business perspective, it's really stressful. We have to look at our situation differently. For some of us, we need to adapt and try and move and change with what's going on. We can't just keep relying on the ways that we've been doing things in the past. And Lepidolite is really great at assisting us with change, at assisting that transitional period as well. So I do feel that part of its assistance with that is that calm and being able to be centered, so that we can kind of relax a little bit more through this period of change. But Lepidolite's also really great at connecting us with our third eye, connecting us with our intuition, helping to connect us with that intuitive guidance as well. And I feel through these sorts of periods we really need a stronger connection with those sort of things, so that we can kind of trust the process. We kind of feel more like we're being guided rather than just kind of falling wherever or ending up somewhere we don't know. It's like we've got that intuitive safety net almost to be able to look after us. So Lepidolite really helps on that level. So it assists us with that change and transition. So if you're finding you're having to adapt a lot to the current circumstances and you're struggling with adapting and changing, then your Lepidolite will assist with that. It will also assist you with getting some of that intuitive guidance, so that you know what that next step is, or you're more confident in what that next step might be. Or even if you're finding I can trust universe a little bit more because I just can feel my my spirit guides and angels working with me. I know that they won't let me down, and because I can feel their energy, it's more easy to be able to trust what's going on there. So Lepidolite will assist you on that level as well. So look, it does lots of other things too, but these are the areas that I'm really guided. Lepidolite is really helpful to us at the moment with current circumstances that are going on. So I highly encourage you to consider perhaps getting yourself even a tumbled piece of Lepidolite to be able to work with if you don't already. Deb's just sharing with us, she said she drew a dragon card today. Courage, yes. Then looked up Lepidolite and the first word was courage. Oh, wow. So you searched your house but you don't have Lepidolite. Yes, time to visit our store. Definitely, Deb. Wow. I love those kind of synchronicities that we can get where, it's like it feels like it's all drawn together. Definitely at the moment, it is a time for us to have to try and be a little bit brave and a little bit courageous and step out of our comfort zone, because honestly everything that's going on at the moment is not stuff that we really would have ever dreamed that we would be going through, and it isn't something that's just gone away in like 6 months. I don't feel it's just going to disappear at the end of the year and that we have a new year that's all reset either. So we've just got to find ways where we can really be a bit flexible and work intuitively, so that we can feel like we've got that guidance working with us. We can really feel that energy and be able to trust and lean in to the changes that we maybe need to make, the things we need to adapt a little bit more. So beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Deb. So also, aside from just sharing about Lepidolite, I thought it's always worth just talking about how we can work with Lepidolite. Now, Lepidolite's one of those crystals that doesn't like to be put in water. It does tend to actually dissolve in water because it is quite soft. So that's why, especially the raw stuff, like I said, you end up with like fairy dust or glitter on your fingers when you've been handling it. There's quite a few of your crystals that end in ITE, that you do need to be a little bit careful of. So this is one not to cleanse with water. So when you are cleansing it, do things like saging it, or putting it under the full moonlight and things like that is more ideal. And this isn't a crystal that you would put directly in water. Even the tumbled versions I wouldn't put directly in water if you are planning to make a crystal elixir with it. Now, I don't want to go into how to make crystal elixirs tonight, but I will tell you, if you are interested and you're not sure how to make your own crystal elixirs, I do have a crystal knowledge workshop that I run on Mystical Dragons Correspondence College. It's only $30, and I have quite a few videos in there that kind of take you through a lot of different aspects of working with crystals, including how to make your own crystal elixirs, both putting crystals directly in the water as well as not directly in the water. But just for tonight's session, I would just say to you, if you know how to make your crystal elixirs and you want to do one with Lepidolite, don't make it with your crystal directly in the water. Do an indirect method for that one. Yes, definitely Lepidolite is one too that you can put under your pillow. So one of the things that I love with the slices is that I always feel like that they're made specifically to be able to slide it into your pillowcase and be able to sleep with it so easily. Whereas some crystals, you really, you kind of get woken up during the night because you're definitely aware you have a crystal in the bed with you. This one, I've always found it to be so easy to have in the bed, to have in your pillow slip and be able to literally sleep with it. So if you are having insomnia troubles, having problems sleeping, definitely I'd recommend a slice if you can get your hands on one. We do stock them when we can get our hands on them at Mystical Dragon. And we do have quite a few different forms and shapes of Lepidolite in our e-store at the moment. But you can, of course, use any shape, any form that you want of Lepidolite. So if you've got tumbled at home, then definitely you could have some tumbled. So you can either put it under your pillow, or as long as it is at least beside the bed, then it will still work with you, because all of our crystals will work with us when they're interacting in our aura. And our aura is more than just a few centimeters big. So, as if it's in the room with you, you are usually interacting with that particular crystal. So please know that. So if it's in your bedroom, I like to have it on my bedside table if I'm particularly wanting to work with it during sleep. Or like I said, the slices is one I will put in my pillow slip. That's ideal if you're having problems with sleep, or you're perhaps wanting to do dream work or something like that. Lapidolite will also assist you with things like dream work for anyone that's wanting to remember dreams and work with your dreams on that level too. But it is great for insomnia. As I said, it's my go-to for insomnia in particular. So aside from that, carrying or working with your Lepidolite is really, or wearing your Lepidolite, not working with, is ideal. So it doesn't really matter, as long as it is on you or in your space, your Lepidolite will be working with you. So if you're not comfortable to have it actually on you, if you don't have any pockets where you could pop it for the moment to be able to be working with it that way, then you could still have it in the room. But obviously having it on you or wearing it's going to be most ideal, particularly if you're working with it for that stress and anxiety, or you're working with it for that change side of things. And I would suggest to you, so we have a dominant hand and a non-dominant hand, and we really want to try and work with Lapidolite with our non-dominant hand. The reason that we want to do that is so that our crystal is actually helping us and assisting us more effectively with that stress side of things. So your dominant hand will be the hand that you usually write with. If you're ambidextrous, you're extra lucky, and you'll probably have to tune in on that level. But I'm really guided that Lepidolite is most effective when we're using it with our non-dominant side. Having said that, if you pick up your Lepidolite and you're feeling it's not comfortable on that side, and you're intuitively wanting to swap sides, whether it's in the opposite pocket, the opposite hand, or however it is that you're going to have it on that side of your body, maybe a bracelet you might have, then don't force it. you've got to go with what feels comfortable for you as well. So often when I'm working with a crystal, when I first pick it up, I will kind of get a sense of what side am I feeling guided that I need to be working with it. But Lepidolite, I get really strongly to share with you guys that non-dominant side is a really good side to be working with it at the moment. So for me, that's my left side. So maybe consider looking at that as well when you're thinking about using your Lepidolite. Perhaps use your left pocket if you're like me, or have it in, I like to use what I call my top pocket, which is my bra for the ladies, and you can pop your crystal in your bra, so maybe pop it in that side. You could have it in a little bag and perhaps hang it off your clothes if you've got a spot where you could tie it to part of your clothes. On the other side, I also get really guided. We really feel our stress around our heart, around our solar plexus, and around our navel chakra. And so these would also be great places to have your Lepidolite on or near, because it's kind of like it'll work there first. So if that's one of the reasons that you're working with Lepidolite, is for that stress relief, that anxiety, for that shifting of change, then you could purposely have it around your heart, your solar plexus, or your navel chakra as well. Once again, if you're like, okay, I want to put it on my left hand side, I'm going to put it in the pocket of my pants because I know that's down close to those chakras, then that's a really ideal way to work with it. That's the way I'm essentially suggesting for you to think about it, because then it'll work there first and it'll be more effective there for you as well. So just a few ideas. So you could do that once, as I said, with your tumbled crystals, or if you've got jewelry, specifically wear your pendant around that heart space. If you've got a pendant of Lepidolite to wear, think about it along those sort of terms, because that's where it will work the best for you. But ultimately, it just needs to be in your aura. It just needs to be around you, and it will automatically start to work with you. And if you feel like you need to give it a little bit of a boost, then something like clear quartz is ideal to put with your Lepidolite as well, because clear quartz will boost the energies of any other crystals that you have with it. And don't forget, you can put it, look, I don't tend to use really more than 3 crystals at once, but you could put it with maybe a couple of other calming stones if you're really feeling like you need that peace and calm. Amethyst is another good one that assists us with stress. Rose quartz is another good one that assists us with stress. I love rose quartz. Such a good crystal. Or you could do one of your softer blue crystals, like maybe a blue calcite, or a blue lace agate, or something like that, which will also assist with stress and just help to bring in some of that peace and calm. Or your lighter blue crystals will bring in peace and calm for you as well. So have a look and see what you've already got at home that you could maybe combine with your Lepidolite if you're feeling guided, to have a companion crystal to work with it as well. And of course, Mystical Dragon, we do have our e-store, and we do have Click and Collect that's operating at the moment as well. So you just use our e-store to organise your Click and Collect, and there's options at the end where you choose either delivery or to be able to pick up if you're in that 5-kilometre radius. Or of course you can email us or DM our page as well, and we can try and help to organise something for you. But the e-store, we've been really trying to get anything Lapidalite we've got in the store up in preparation for tonight, so that you can see what's available if you're feeling guided to maybe use some Lapidalite as well. I know I've been using it through this lockdown, and I will continue to use it for myself. I've been finding it really helpful. So I hope you guys have found that helpful. Elijah's just asked a question about the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. It's not calling you as you used to. Well, maybe look with tarot decks. I find that sometimes you do kind of, it's like you move through decks sometimes. So you will find you're called to work with one for so long, and then sometimes you'll kind of, it's like it won't be talking to you the same, and you might go looking for another deck that will talk to you, or perhaps you'll already have another deck that actually is going to be one that you need to work with for a little while. So I would personally, if that's was going on for me, I'd be looking at if there's another deck that's talking to you that maybe you need to start working with, at least for a little while. You might go back to that Toth deck, but you might find that there's another one you need to work with at the moment. Beautiful. Thanks so much, girls. I hope that you found that helpful. I really hope that you find Lepidolite helpful more than anything. And especially if it's not one that you've worked with before, I think you'll really find it's a beautiful crystal to work with. I find it so soft and gentle. It's a real nurturing kind of stone, so I think you'll really enjoy the experience. Oh, that's wonderful, Deb. I'm so glad that you're finding the sessions informative and reassuring. That's really good. I'm glad. Next week I'm going to do one, next Friday I'm going to do one specifically for the full moon. So next Sunday we have our next full moon, so next Friday I'll be doing another Facebook Live just talking about the Aquarius full moon and giving you guys some ideas in working with that Aquarius full moon as well for anyone that wants to join me. I've started up an event for that too if you want to follow that one, so I hope to see you next Friday at 8 p.m. as well. Beautiful. I'm so pleased. So thank you so much, guys. I will leave it there. Take care, and I will definitely talk to you guys soon. Hope to see you next Friday, and wishing you a beautiful week. I hope it's much more relaxed and stress-free with your Lapidolite. Love you all.